Millions across the world knew her through one unforgettable television role, a career spanning 3 decades, from child performer to television star and voice actress. That cheerleader healed from any wound on screen, but the woman behind the role holds a bigger story than one show. A story that starts with a baby in commercials. She filmed her first television commercial at 11 months old, and by her teens, she had more acting credits than birthdays, the pressure growing quietly beside her. She was born in Palisades, New York, and grew up very publicly. Every camera flash a new scrap, slowly gathering to make a portrait of her life. Her mother was a soap opera actress, and her father a New York firefighter, so both the sets and the fire stations felt like home. Daytime soaps were her first schooling, playing Sarah on One Life to Live, and then Lizzie on Guiding Light, from the mid-90s through 2000. At age 9, she voiced Princess Dot in Pixar's A Bug's Life, a part that earned a Grammy nomination, one of the youngest nominees ever. In the year 2000, she played the coach's young daughter in Remember the Titans, a true story of a 1971 team that had to come together. As a teenager, her acting roles bounced her from icy skating rinks to dusty racetracks. In Ice Princess, she sharpened her edge as a fierce teenage rival skater, bringing attitude and intensity to every icy showdown. In Racing Stripes, she switched gears completely, playing a determined young jockey chasing impossible odds with fearless charm. Then, one day, a casting call from the television network NBC landed her inside the pilot for the television series Heroes. In September 2006, Heroes premiered as NBC's strongest new drama in 5 years, and the whole world soon met cheerleader Claire. Claire Bennet could not die. A fall, a blade, a broken bone, her body healed in seconds, and the whole superpowered series leaned on one 17-year-old girl. Save the cheerleader, save the world. Those words left the screen and joined pop culture, and the unbreakable girl became bigger than television. Claire asked the big questions. Who am I? What do I owe strangers? And millions saw themselves in a girl who always got back up. By 2007, she toured the fan circuit, Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con, walking past halls of cosplayers dressed as her character. At 18, she became the face of Neutrogena and of a milk campaign shot by Annie Leibovitz, while the tabloids had already been circling her since 16. Heroes ran 4 seasons and ended in 2010, and the fandom that grew around it refused year after year to fold. In the quiet years that followed, the fandom's steady love, the rewatching, the fan art, the Halloween costumes, carried into everything she did next. She closed the cheerleader chapter on purpose and stepped into a different life, determined to prove to everyone and herself that she was more. In 2012, the network television show Nashville cast her as Juliette, a young country newcomer set against the show's queen, and their rivalry powered the series. Juliette was everything Claire could not be. Ruthless, hungry, bruised, and living proof she needed no superpowers to own a scene. She sang every note of it herself. Her single Telescope climbed the real country charts, and the rumors that she could not sing finally died away. She had confessed to a genuine stage fright before the show, yet night after night, she sang live in front of cameras and crowded rooms anyway. A Golden Globe nomination came in 2013, another followed in 2014, and the old cheerleader label finally began to crack. 6 seasons ran from 2012 into 2018, switching networks just to finish, with the music produced by T-Bone Burnett. She said plainly that she took the role to escape that old label, to play a woman who keeps falling down and keeps coming back. And it worked. On the real Grand Ole Opry stage, she sang as Juliette. Her records became real chart records, and a new audience that had never watched a superhero show found her. The schedule was brutal. Scripts in and scripts out with no time to rest, and she later admitted her body had been begging her to stop. After the finale, she took the spotlight down. No premieres, no new sets, quietly healing and rebuilding herself far from the cameras. In April of 2011, Scream 4 arrived, and she played Kirby, the horror film fan who survived, one of her sharpest parts. 12 years later, in Scream 6, the franchise brought Kirby back to the big screen, and fans who knew her cheered out loud. Her voice reached gamers as Kairi in the Kingdom Hearts games from 2002 onward for about 15 years, and players grew up on that voice. In 2015, she played Sam in the PlayStation thriller Until Dawn, stepping inside a game instead of only behind a microphone. When she was 18, she paddled into the Dolphin Hunt Bay at Taiji in Japan with 5 other surfers, and that footage became part of the Oscar-winning film The Cove. In 2008 came the Humane Society's Weiler Award, letters delivered at the embassies of Japan, Iceland, and Norway, and her ocean fights never really stopped. The actress who played an unbreakable girl was hurting in real life. And she said so, plainly and publicly, in her own words. After her daughter was born in 2014, she lived with postpartum depression, and on live television she said it is real and it needs to be talked about. She kept saying it, over and over, peeling away the shame and handing other parents the 2 small words, me too. Her childhood had been about pleasing everyone, and in her own memoir she wrote that her drinking became a quiet kind of self-harm nobody saw. Rehab, then relapse, then recovery, step by step. And in 2018, the hardest choice of all, entrusting her daughter to her ex, a living nightmare she chose. Her memoir, This Is Me, landed in May of 2026, and she wrote how Hollywood raised a kid like a little soldier, where no was never an option. In those same pages, she came out as bisexual, writing her own first history of herself with a calm hand before anyone else could write it for her. Her honesty became her quiet superpower, and with every hard truth she said out loud, one more silent listener felt a little less alone. Look at all the scraps on the wall. The Soap Kid, Pixar Princess, Unbreakable Cheerleader, Country Star, the Scream Survivor, the Game Voice, Ocean Defender. Those characters still belong to the fans, in rewatches, in quotes, in cosplay, and in the games. And those pieces of her will never really